I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And I also want to tell anyone that's trying to go by these crazy rules that some governor in your state has put that now you can't spend time with your family. I want to just tell you, don't lose faith. Continue to have that faith. And hey, I love you. So many great patriots love you as well. And let's just keep the faith. I always say you got to look up to go up. And I also want to say anyone that don't want to put America first, it's terrible. I love America. And so many other patriots love America as well. Now let's get to our voting. I tell you what, don't you worry about it. Like I said, just have faith. Because the people that decided to mess around in our election, some people may go to jail. Just saying. Anyone that don't believe in America first, and don't believe in the Constitution, I don't know how it can qualify you to run for a public office in the United States of America. You got to first believe in America and believe in America's ways, or you disqualified. Those are the rules. I think anyone that believes that any foreign entity should have a right to be meddling in our election shouldn't be in office either. I don't care who you are or what you do. So anyone that have had anything to do with that, I think need to come forward, or sooner or later you're going to have a knock at your door. So right now we need to put America first and think about how many people have died fighting for our freedom to have those rights to believe in the American way. Hey, God bless you. Last night I woke up from this dream that was very real. It was about this guy that he was the most powerful guy in the world, and he was investigating some problems that was going on, and there was these two different groups that was all behind him, or they pretended they were all behind him. But the closer and closer he got to finding the truth, the more and more that they wanted him to quit searching and just give up. Well, it was interesting that I had a dream like that, and it's strange that they wanted him to give up, but he can't, because it's not about the two groups, it's about the people. So I think people need to realize that. I came to talk about people. It is time to stand up to this voter fraud, because all these foreign countries that seem to be involved in our election, and these are countries that run a terrible election, but yet they're involved in our election. And we have people that decided on your stimulus check to say, hey, there's nothing to see here. They want to move on. People, you better not move on, because if you were looking for handouts for that stimulus check, you're going to be looking out for handouts for everything else also. So it's best to stand right now against all these legislators and all these people in Washington that saying there's nothing to see here, or you will be kneeling the rest of your life for some small little stimulus check. You better think about that. Oh, I watched the hearing today, and I tell you, it was very eye-opening, and I was hurt because I love the state of Georgia. I love the United States of America, and the state of Georgia, the whole world is watching right now. And how can we certify something that we know is not right? And unless you're part of the problem, we got to do what's right now and not certify this here. And let's find out what's really going on in the state of Georgia. And now I just saw the Lieutenant Governor of Georgia on national TV say that there was nothing wrong with the election in front of millions and millions of people. Right after I just heard a young man from that Senate committee say that those machines were connected to the internet. Now, because he was an elected official, lieutenant governor, does that mean that that is an affidavit that he either got to be arrested for lying, or he has to have to resign because he was a lieutenant elected official lying? But to be fair, or the young man that say that it was connected to the internet lose all his credibility. So I think that'll be a good way to find out who is being honest here, to find out if those machines were connected to the internet. I think the lieutenant governor got to go, or the young man lose all his credibility.
Hey, we got to straighten out this voter integrity first. We got to straighten out all this foreign interference before we can talk about voter anything and get all the mail-in voting. We got to straighten all this out or no one is going to win. And I think that's the first thing we got to do. But I tell you what, I was totally shocked to hear former President Obama say what he just said, the most powerful man in the world that's telling you that, oh, he cannot get reparation, which I disagree with in the beginning.
Okay. Next, we have another question from Facebook. What are your thoughts on January 6th?
My thoughts on January 6th is, as I said early on, something is going on. Something is going on in this country that is absolutely terrible. What it is, I don't know. But I think that people should be aware of it. I don't think we should hide it. I think the worst thing that we do is we have leadership that sort of just give you the pin view of it and not the whole view. And people get confused. They get lost. They get hurt. They get hurt by it. And I think leaders got to stand up, whether it's good or bad, to tell the people the truth. But then yet they be leaders enough to try to correct it. And that's what I've always told people, that's what they got to do.
We do know that the Justice Department came out and said there was no major fraud that would have changed the outcome of the election. Even the governor there stated that it was a fair election. So what are your thoughts on, what's happening right now in your state?
It's sad to me what is going on in my state. It's sad that people have no confidence in our leadership in Georgia right now, because you're not sure what they're saying is the truth or what is what. And I think that's what's so bad. Something stinks. Something is going on in Georgia. You don't know what it is.
Well, I totally agree with Governor Kemp right there, because, having an ID is the basic things you got to have. Right now, my grandfather today would be over 117 years old, and he had a driver license. Everyone born in America got a birth certificate. So that is an ID. And I think for people to continue to talk about this ID is sort of appalling. At the same time, why are they not helping people to get an ID? Because those are the basic things you need in America to survive. You need it to cash a check. You need it to get your tickets at a ball game. You need it to get on an airplane. You need it to do almost any basic thing in America. To do anything, you need an ID. So I agree with Governor Kemp there. I think that's a Democratic way of trying to have a power grab right there, and I think it's a shame. And I also challenge these corporations, these CEOs, say, guys, why don't we help the people to get an ID, those that don't have an ID? I think that's what we want to do instead of sitting there talking about it, because we were talking about IDs, months ago. So why don't we help people to get an ID right now?
How are we going to know that our next election is going to be fair? Are we going to get rid of Dominion voting systems? Are we going to go to paper ballots? What are we going to do about knowing that our votes, every vote counts?
Because Herschel Walker is running. And what's so funny, do you know more African American, black, and brown people voted in the last election than they've had in a long time? Those are stats. They didn't come from me. You won't see them in the Atlanta Constitution. Those are true stats. But people don't want to hear that. But let's blame ourselves, because we elected them, maybe. But one of the things that we have to think about is we have to get out and vote. We can't have sour grapes and not vote. And you know what we can help them? Because we need to help them. We got to put the right people in office right now. You got to get out and vote. Tell your friends to get out and vote. I'm not telling you to vote twice. They may have done it before, but you ain't doing that.
Yeah, so I want to start with in the 2020 presidential election, where you had Trump's claims of election fraud, and that led to a lower turnout among Georgia Republicans that helped Ossoff and Warnock flip the Senate. Do you worry that if Trump interferes in the 2022 election, that it will be positive or damaging to you and other GOP candidates?
Well, I don't worry about what Trump is going to do there, because I think right now the people are moving forward. And I said, that's what we got to do. We got to continue to move forward. Whatever happened in 2021 or 2020, we can't worry about that now. We got to move forward, and I don't worry about that. Well, one of the things that people got to realize is there are rules to this election. And as long as I follow the rules and what is fair, they're going to trust me because I do live in Georgia.
Adjusting
well, I think
them.
one of the problems you got to say, and not just that the Republicans trying to undermine. I think that's a false statement to make. Right now, you remember Stacey Abrams never conceded to Brian Kemp because she said that was a problem in the election. And that's one of the things I've said. There's a problem somewhere. Where is that problem at? Well, we've had problems. But we've had problems with our elections for years. That's what people don't realize. We've had problems with our elections for years. And this year was even worse. This past year was worse than what all this happened. Everything's got so terrible. But I said, right now, our problem we have right now, people don't have trust in the system anymore. And I said, guys, we got to gain that trust back in the system. And the way you do that is get out and vote. And the way you do that, I would say that Kemp did something good. I've been rid of all the drop boxes. Now every county has one. And it's supposed to be manned, it's supposed to have the ID and all that. So that's a good start right there. Well, first of all, it's not true. That was not, and that's what's so sad is there was not one policy that restricted any black person to vote who wanted to vote. You know what is so strange right now? I hear people say the same thing, and it's against this country. Well, what's so funny, if you got something to say against this country, that's not right, because we have lawyers, we have judges, we have people, we have a constitution. When you want to get rid of the constitution, what is this country going to become? So I want to tell everyone out there, right now, there are 70-some million people that want to know the truth. And if you don't want to know the truth, that's fine, but there are 70-some million that want to know the truth, and I think they deserve to have that right. Don't take it away from them, because we do have a constitution. But this election in Georgia right now, I'm ashamed of what's going on in Georgia. I'm ashamed that the leaders decide not to be leaders, but decide to hide and not protect the people. Right now, the election going to be tight, but everyone that has a legal vote to vote need to get out and vote and not worry about what's going on in Washington. Let Washington take care of itself, because I do trust in this president, and I do think he's going to bring the bad players to justice. And I'll be right there with him, and I'll fight along with him as long as I need to fight with him, because he's right. If there was something that was done wrong, people need to be punished for it, because I think that's the only way we can make this country free.